Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, I'm Sandy. I love to make junk journals and do all kinds of different crafty projects. But today's video, I wanted to respond to different comments and questions I'd received on my TEMU post about their prices going up. And I know, we use TEMU. I didn't buy a ton from TEMU, but I still did use them. And because there were some items that I couldn't find elsewhere, and I would get them there, and I'd get them at an affordable price, which is, we're always looking to try and save money when we're buying things. But now those affordable prices seem to be gone. Maybe not forever. I think Temu is trying to pivot and make some changes to address these issues. But I thought I would share today some of the different options that I'm going to try and looking for more affordable, or might be a little bit more expensive, but definitely less expensive than paying tariffs on these individual items. One option I'm going to do, which I had already been using, was Amazon. So I'll continue to use Amazon. I will be mindful if Amazon is going to pass along the tariffs, and just have to be very mindful when we go and check out to make sure we see what the total cost is going to be. But I will most likely use Amazon. They oftentimes have similar, if not the same, items on Amazon as we've seen on Temu and Shein. I don't really use Shein. It might be something I might explore if I need to, but for now, I think they're having the same issues as Temu. And as this video gets older in age, a lot of those issues might get resolved in the future, but I'm just kind of talking about how things are today, currently. The other options that I wanted to share with you all are two websites that I use, and I have discount codes down below for both of them. The first one is Taperlogy, and the other one is IBEEBEE. And I have a haul video that I'll be posting up soon with some items that I received from IEEBEE, IB, I think is how you say it. But I'll have those discount codes down below. Now they don't sell all the same things that Temu sold, but they do have some really neat options. And I also have a Taperlogy haul video that you'll see soon on my channel. So Amazon, Taperlogy, IB, those are some options I'm going to look into. And then also, I am going to shop my stash. So if you're anything like me, you buy and you're like, oh, I want to make something with this. And you just have this long list of different projects that you want to do. So I think this is the perfect time for us to go through our stash, see what we've purchased from Temu in the last year or so, and make sure we're using those items. And I think that'll be a lot of fun to shop our stash. That was one of my goals for 2025 anyway, was to really utilize the things that I have in my inventory now, especially with the products that I sell on Etsy and the products that I send to my patrons. It's been really fun. Last month I did sewing pattern journals and used a lot of things up that I already had in my stash. Another thing that I'm going to do that you might consider is shopping around your house. So a little different than shopping your stash is to think about what sort of old books do you have that you could utilize, any old jewelry that you could repurpose for spine dangles, or any sort of elements on tags and hanging off the edge of your journals. Looking at our old junk mail, old vacation ephemera, postcards, any of your own schoolwork or your kids' schoolwork that you may have saved, and repurposing those. Doing some coffee dyeing or different colored dyeing of papers, and looking at your office supplies, school supplies, papers, paper clips, envelopes, all those sorts of things. So I think it's another, that's another great way to come up with supplies for our junk journals. And we can also ask our friends if they have any of those types of items around their house that they would be willing to donate or give to us. And then another thing that I like to do is I like to go to estate sales and yard sales. You never know what you're going to find at them. So if you're looking for something specific, that can get a little tricky. But you never know. You might find it at an estate sale or yard sale. And oftentimes you can haggle and do some negotiating, especially if you're buying a big bundle of items. You can usually get all those items for cheaper. And then thrift stores are another source. You have to be really mindful on thrift stores because sometimes the prices can go up. And here recently, we've seen the demand for vintage items has really skyrocketed. But you can also find non-vintage items at thrift stores that can be marked at good prices. So I think thrift stores is another source for us. And I am going to be doing a video for my members, YouTube members and patrons here soon on some of my tips and tricks that I look for when I'm going to estate sales and going to thrift stores. And regarding TEMU, I've already heard just today that they are planning on moving a lot of their products to the United States and putting them in their U.S. inventories here so that when we go to purchase items from them, we aren't paying that huge tariff tax. It is kind of reduced down because it's now in the U.S. inventory. And so the prices might go up a little bit, but they won't be as drastic as when we're buying an individual item from TEMU like we were before all this happened. And then I was exploring on the TEMU app this morning as well and noticed that a lot of the different items, I was searching items that I might be interested in, like charms for jewelry making, things like that, envelopes, paper, things like that. And a lot of them were showing that if you spend $25 or $35, then shipping will be free. And they are highlighting which items are in local U.S. warehouses now. And then you don't have to pay, they aren't charging the tariff tax on those items. So I think you could still do some shopping, but you have to be a little more mindful and careful of what you're choosing and looking at if it's coming from a local warehouse. And it sounds like TEMU is planning on trying to move even more and more of their inventory to the U.S. warehouses. So that's good news for some of those items that we just can't seem to get in the other places. And I think it'll be interesting to see over the next few months if we start to see more of the products showing up on Amazon or showing up on other local shops that sell crafting supplies like scrapbook.com or Ranger Ink or Simon Says Stamp. So that'll be interesting to see if those online retail companies start to pivot and change. And I know it's a double hit that Joanna's closed because oftentimes we would get a lot of really good things at Joann's and they ran really good prices. So it's been a little tough, where Joann's is closing and now, TEMU is being hit with these tariffs as well as Shein. So yeah, it's a tough time for us. So these are some of the methods that I'm going to try to get through this phase. I think shopping my stash is going to be my biggest benefit because I do have a lot of things that I can pull from, and it'll be fun to get creative to maybe think about new ways to use things I have in my stash. There might be some items for my patrons that I specifically still have to go out and source. And if that's the case, that's just the way how we have to run a business. And I'm okay with that because I love creating for my patrons and I love creating products that I sell at craft fairs and on my Etsy shop as well. Another place that I often like to look is on eBay. Again, sometimes it's not newer items that are on eBay, but sometimes we can find vintage or older items that will be, if not exactly the same, they'll be similar to what we were looking for on TEMU. So eBay is also another really possible solution to look for items that we're wanting to use in our junk journals. And of course, we can't forget about the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree is adding new things all the time. So it's good to add a periodic cycle through, whether it's once a week or once every couple weeks. Check out your local Dollar Trees and Dollar General, Five Below. You can always find really unique and creative things at those stores to use in our junk journals. And I think they'll continue to expand their inventory as well. And it might not be a cheap option, but I've noticed that Michael's is changing their inventory around, and I'm seeing more stencils and stamp sets and ink pads, and it seems like they're kind of reinvesting back into the paper product part of their inventory. So that's encouraging to see. And I know that a few Michael stores have started adding more fabric into their inventory. I haven't seen that in our Michael's that I regularly go to, but that would be great to have that happen as well. And then I've also have checked out a couple of our local fabric stores here in town, a couple that I didn't know about, and I'll have a little haul video on one of the fabric stores as well, and share what fabric that I picked up there. So who knows how long all this turmoil is going to continue. It seems like TEMU is pivoting and trying to make some adjustments to address this, so we'll see if that happens. But I have been buying less and less from TEMU over the years just because, I'm trying to buy only specific things that I need for projects that I have in mind, things that I want to do. I do buy a lot of packaging and shipping materials from them, so I'll have to pivot and maybe compare the prices of Dollar Tree and Amazon and see which one might be cheaper with the packaging and shipping. Even though we're in this turmoil right now, I think what we're really lucky to have is that we have our hobbies and we have our crafts. And I think it's great to use our creativity and spend time in our craft room and just creating. And that kind of helps us, de-stress ourselves a little bit with all the stuff that's going on in the world today. And, it's just a little escape. It's not the answer, but I know that for me, exercising, being creative, doing something with my hands, being with friends and family, those are the types of things that I think help give me the strength to work through and deal with any problem that we're going to see. So these are just some ideas I was planning on doing. I thought I'd do a video and share with you some of the alternatives I'm going to try with all this going on right now. And several of y'all had kind of made comments and asked, so I thought I would share. And I do appreciate your all support. It's really fun getting to know. We've never met in person, but I really feel like we're starting to get to know each other, and it's just really fun to have all these, I almost want to say pen pals, even though we don't necessarily write each other, but they're like virtual pen pals, if you will, maybe. So that's been a lot of fun. And I hope you find this video helpful. Make sure to check out my discount codes for Taperlogy. I know I'm not saying it right. And IB. And I will see you all on the next video. Bye.